Fast as lightning, sharp as a sword. Greetings, YouTube. I'm Lightning Sword, and I'm back with another review of My Little Pony Season 6. Today we'll be going over The Gift of Maud Pie. In all honesty, I wasn't expecting much. The crystalling left me underwhelmed, so I decided not to get my hopes up. And when I saw Josh Haber's name in the credits, I lowered my hopes even more. But I was pleasantly surprised. It's not a spectacular episode by any stretch, but it's not bad in any sense of the word. I had a minor gripe or two, but nothing that puts me off watching it. Well, let's begin with the positives of the episode, shall we? Number 1. No Starlight! The end. We begin on the train to Manhattan, where we see the beginning of a two-character dynamic that we don't really see often enough in the show. Pinkie Pie and Rarity. These two characters have hardly ever had a moment together in 5 seasons, so it's nice to see them get some screen time together. And another pleasant surprise? The return of an old fan favorite.
You know what that spells? It spells Maud.
Yep, and then there's Maud. Maud Pie has been something of a wild card to me since her debut in Season 4. I've always found her monotone delivery to be one part disturbing and one part humorous. Of course, the polar opposite siblings trope is one we've seen in all sorts of cartoons, but in this episode there's a fairly common trope in cartoons that we haven't seen in MLP at all. The Gift of the Magi. The story goes that two people who care for one another will each sacrifice a personal item of significant importance to buy a present for the other person, usually around Christmas, and usually person A's gift to person B will be an accessory to the item person B gave up, and vice versa. As I've said, this trope has been done by many other kids' programs before. Sesame Street did it, Rugrats did it, hell, even Cat Dog did it. So I'm actually shocked that it took MLP this long to get with the program. But the surprise for me lies mostly in MLP appearing to go back to its roots and taking an old trope and putting a different spin on it. In a Dog and Pony show, they took the kidnapping scenario and turned it on its ear, making Rarity a strong, cunning character instead of a damsel in distress. In Green Isn't Your Color, they took the jealousy trope and made it about recognizing your own feelings and dealing with them maturely. Even most recently in my favorite episode of Season 5, Scaremaster, they took an episode about wanting to fit in and made it about not giving in to peer pressure and deciding what you like and don't like for yourself. I'll explain later what makes this episode stand out in the same way, but with all this in mind, I look forward to explaining it. It seems Pinkie is spending the day with Maud in Manhattan while Rarity is scouting locations for her third store. I'm excited at this prospect, as I was fond of the episode Canterlot Boutique. But Pinkie appears to need assistance in finding the perfect gift for Maud for a gift exchange at the end of the day, because according to Pinkie, Maud is good at finding the perfect gift.
Boulder promised his cousin a postcard.
Okay. So Rarity agrees to help Pinkie plan out the day in just such a way so that she can sneak away to buy a present.
Nothing moved him.
Uh-huh. You know, dear, I think there might be a reason for that. Anyway, the girls start exploring the city on the Indiana Jones Express, taking in the sights, checking out potential locations for Rarity's next shop, and discharging Pinkie's party cannon. Over, and over, and over again. Jeez, I wish she'd get rid of that thing. But you know, that doesn't seem likely in the least. So, at a restaurant, Rarity keeps Maud occupied while Pinkie tips away to the, can't believe I'm saying this, Rock Pouch store. I can only assume the Pies are responsible for there even being a market for rock pouches. Only the Pies would keep pet rocks after 1976. Sadly, when she gets there, the place is closed. But Pinkie being Pinkie, she doesn't readily take no for an answer. Whoa. Guys, I can't believe this. This is really impressive. I am so blown away by this. I am strictly blown away. There are cops in Equestria! And so the riveting tale of how Boulder met Maud concludes.
Wow, what a surprisingly suspenseful and compelling story. I completely get what you see in him now.
Exactly what is Rarity's level of sarcasm in this scene, I wonder?
It's over 9,000!
Oh, I see. Thanks, Vegeta. And now the mandatory recap. Oh boy, here we go.
The doors are locked, the doors locked because the owner's on a vacation to Canada with his granny's birthday wins, so there's no way I can get the perfect present for Bonnie now. We don't have any present for her, and also it'll be the worst prize and a surprise Sunday ever!
Hey, ice cream depression is Rarity's shtick. So Rarity and Pinkie go on a not-so-subtle hunt for a replacement gift for Maud, complete with movie references, rock watching, Twicane, and Maud jokes.
Maud, I can't help but notice you staring at that marvelous giraffe. I was just wondering, any chance you could see yourself with it?
Only if I had a mirror.
Surely there must be something here that catches your eye.
Boulder says they're all too stuck up.
Again, a little bit creepy, a little bit funny. Also, you can call me whatever you want, I don't give a shit. Rarity looks straight up sexy in that dress. So Rarity has just about given up.
And she likes a crack.
Oh, Rarity, you always make me smile. To me, you'd be best pony if it weren't for... you know who. But yeah, Rarity's giving up.
Boulder, where'd you run off to?
How'd you run off to? So, just when all hope is lost, Pinkie and Rarity spot the pouch Pinkie wanted, in another pony's possession. Pinkie offers to take it off his hooves, but the only way he'll part with it is if Pinkie trades away her party cannon. What? No, bad idea. You can't just give this guy a lethal weapon, he's clearly in the Mafia! Anyway, in the end, Pinkie makes the trade and ends up feeling really depressed.
You're Pinkie Pie. You're supposed to be all, oh, I'm so excited I got the wrong pouch. And I know I say excited a lot when I'm actually just kind of excited, but this time I'm really excited about how excited I am about being excited about the wrong pouch. And then you fire off your party cannon.
Hey, bouncing off the walls is Pinkie Pie's shtick. I mean, what's the deal with the shtick stealing all of a sudden? Well, Pinkie Pie is sad to see it go, but happy that she got Maud's gift. And all joking aside, I'm impressed here. The writers managed to portray Pinkie in her best light possible. She gave up something of her own for the one she cared about, and quickly got over her sadness to feel better for Maud's sake, which is very in character. This is a side of Pinkie we rarely see. Maturity and selflessness. Okay, sure, moments like Pinkie Pride and Party Pooped showed that side of her, but not to this degree. And it's the reason Pinkie Pie has grown on me as a character. Good on you, writers. Well done. And so the gift-giving begins. And here's where the twist on the gift of the Magi trope comes in. Typically, the two characters exchanging gifts give up something personal in order to get their gifts, only to find that the gifts they receive have something to do with the item they lost. But in this case, only Pinkie gave up something personal, at least from what we've seen. And while we haven't seen Maud give up anything of hers, she still came through for Pinkie.
It's little pieces of cupcake scented paper. You know, confetti for your cannon.
I'm not really sure how such a finite, functionally illogical object like confetti makes a good gift. But then again, this is Pinkie Pie. You could gift wrap an eggplant and she'd love it. Naturally, Pinkie Pie goes apeshit over her gift, and she exclaims,
I'm gonna love it forever. That's even longer than forever.
should we tell her that's not a word? I think we should tell her that's not a word. Then later on, Rarity accidentally spills the beans, and I can't really understand what Maud's reaction is. She seems almost disappointed that Pinkie would give up her party cannon. Like, it's something she'd never wanted Pinkie to do. I mean, I understand her delivery, that's just what she does, but is this a problem? If it is, why? It's her life, and it's her stuff. Why bother being upset with her over her own decisions? So Maud goes to track down Guido and get Pinky's cannon back. How does she find him, you ask?
Mod sense.
Runs in the family.
Of course it does. Now herein lies my only gripe about this episode. Maud insists on the trade back, Guido refuses, Rarity steps in only to exacerbate matters until...
Here, take it, please! Just relax that jaw of yours and turn down that fire in your eyes!
What the hell, girls? It was a trade. Pinky gave up her cannon fair and square. It's not like he conned her out of it. I mean, I'm not saying she shouldn't have it back. And yes, the guy's kind of a smug prick, but come on! There was no need to give the poor guy a complex. Whatever his mob dealings are, at least wait until you can plant a bug on him before sending him to the loony bin. Also, I find it rather prudent to point out that Surrey Polymer is standing right there! You remember Surrey, don't you? The one mayor on the show who was getting away with shit before Starlight Glimmer made it cool? Yeah, she's evidently sitting pretty in Manhattan despite having taken no consequences for committing fashion design fraud. By the way, that's a thing. Well, it's good to know that the, thieving liar had herself a happy ending, while this poor schmuck is set to become Arkham Asylum's first pony patient. I also find it a tad bizarre how these two different characters, the plagiarist mayor and the reasonably innocent stallion, are in the same scene at the same time. What's up with that? Anyway, Pinkie Pie learns a quick lesson about gift-giving not being a contest. Rarity finds the place she wants to build her new boutique, and that's about it.
Always make sure to give your gifts with lots of love. That's why I'll always love them. And you. 5 ever. That's even longer than 4 ever.
I'm gonna tell him. So that was The Gift of Maud Pie. Overall, an impressive episode. While not quite on par with some of my favorite Rarity episodes like A Dog and Pony Show and Rarity Investigates, this is easily my favorite Pinkie Pie episode. She's completely believable and very in character, despite her childlike innocence and tendency to go off in her own little la-la land. She does show strong maturity and willingness to please her sister at her own expense. And with gems like Rarity's comedic timing, the return of Maud, and the referential humor, I have no real complaints about this episode. Well, almost no complaints. Well, I hope you guys enjoyed the review and the episode. I admit, I was really disappointed at the season opening, but this episode surprised me. It was good. Like, really good. See, Josh Haber? You can write good episodes. Just make sure you have some help until you get your bearings. And don't write season openings. Or finales. And you know what? Just stay away from Starlight, too. That would help. Anyway, I realize there's a watermark in the corners of all my footage, so I'd like to make a quick shout out to the channel Rainbow Brony for the footage. I'll put a link in the description in case you're interested. And I'd also like to give a personal shout out to a friend of mine, the Autistic Pony, for his recent review of one of my stories on filmfiction.net, Pride of the Apples. There's a link to his channel in the description too. Anyway, if you liked the video, you know the drill. Like, comment, subscribe, and all that. I'll be back with a new video soon. Until then, this is Lightning Sword. Stay quick, stay sharp, and thanks for watching. Some pony has to tell her.